its ICE and its Border Patrol, and a man who's really become a friend in a sense. Brandon, I will say this, Brandon Judd has been a stalwart in terms of justice for people, in terms of fairness, and in terms of the toughness you need.
All right, that's high praise coming from the President of the United States for Brandon Judd, the National Border Patrol Council President. Brandon, like some of these others affected by this government shutdown, isn't getting paid through this process. He says it's fine with him because there's a greater cause at stake. He joins us right now. Brandon, very good to have you. Thank you for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
Where do you think this shutdown, first of all, goes and how long it goes? Because it could mean, you know, your paychecks are held back for quite a while.
It's going to mean that. But we first have to understand that the American public has spoken. They want border security. And from my standpoint, from a 21-year veteran Border Patrol agent, my standpoint is that if we can have a shutdown for long-lasting border security that secures the American public's future, I'm all for it. I'm going to give in. I'm going to sacrifice for that because that's what the American public wants. That's what my children want. That's what my family wants. And that's what the vast majority of people in this country want. They want border security, and we're willing to give that to them.
But do you think that whatever the president is envisioning is going to be enough? I mean, if you think about it, Brandon, the fight over the $5 billion is actually a fight over a continuing down payment on something that will eventually cost in excess of $25 billion, right?
If we saw that the Democrats actually had a plan to physically keep people from crossing the border illegally, we're not talking about legal immigration, it's illegal immigration. If they had a plan to physically keep people out, we could get behind that. They don't. What this president is talking about, he's talking about the proper mixture of infrastructure, which is the wall. He's talking about the proper mixture of personnel, our agents, and he's giving that to us. He's working to get that for us, which will ensure long-lasting border security, which is, again, what we're working for and what we want.
Now, the president has intimated that, you know, if he doesn't succeed in trying to get this impasse resolved, he might just go ahead, claim a national emergency, and start building it himself. How do you feel about that?
You know, I was with him in the Oval Office for about 45 minutes. Our meeting lasted about 45 minutes. And when we were talking to him, he said, that's what the American public needs to hear. Let's go tell the American public exactly what you just said. What we're seeing is that this president is willing to think outside the box. He's willing to say, this is what I need to do, and this is how I'm going to do it. You know, you were just talking about China. Some of your guests were saying that he's going to hold this down. He's going to do the right thing. And that's exactly what he's doing on border security. If he's not going to get it through Congress, he's going to look for other ways to do it, and that's the business aspect that he brings to the White House.
So you would support his claiming a national emergency to get this thing done?
Absolutely. If it's going to give us border security, we're going to support that. We're going to support the shutdown. We're going to support a national emergency. In 2014, the Democrats said that we had a crisis at the border. Well, we're right back at that same point. So why aren't they saying that we have this crisis? Why aren't they saying this is what we need? We need more personnel. We need a wall. We need physical barriers. They were for it before, but all of a sudden they're not for it. And frankly, I think it's because they refuse to give him what they would consider a win going into 2020. But frankly, if I was a Democratic strategist, I would be the first one to say we've got to secure the border because the Republicans continue to use that as a talking point, and the Democrats are always behind the 8 ball on it.
Brandon, thank you very much. Brandon Judd, the National Border Patrol Council President.